upon us, and I would like to call our meeting to order. This is our regularly scheduled monthly meeting that's always held on the first Tuesday of each month. With that being said, I would like to say welcome to each of you and thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. I will ask if we would stand for our invocation. I will ask Commissioner McKeithen if he would do us an invocation tonight. And please remain standing for our pledge of allegiance to follow.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, once again we come to say thank you, dear Lord. We thank you for this day, and we thank you for the blessing of this day. We ask you to come into our meeting this afternoon, Lord. Guide and direct our thoughts. May everything we do and say be pleasing in your sight. Lord, if there are sick amongst us, we ask for your healing power in the blessed name of Jesus Christ. Go with us, Lord. Stand by. Give us traveling mercy as we leave this place, going back to our homes. May we find the home better than we were when we left. Do these things for us, dear Father. We will surely give your name the praise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us via the internet. If we have anyone out there that's watching this meeting, we will stick pretty much by our agenda tonight. We have another commissioner join us. We will give him a minute or so to get seated. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Next item on our agenda is our public input session, but I will move over that until our clerk get back so she can answer whether anyone is signed up or not, and we will ask for approval of our agenda for tonight. But no one is signed up, so we don't have to have a public input session tonight. So thank you for that information, and we will move on to approval of our agenda for this evening's meeting. What is the will of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Correction, this is not the consent. This is
For the,
our agenda that we will be using tonight. Is that your motion?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second that we'll accept our agenda as it has been given to us this evening. Is there any questions on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Our next item will be our consent agenda, which consists of board minutes from our previous meetings in July, releases and refunds, and our staff reports. What is the will of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept our consent agenda.
second.
We have a motion and a second that we accept our consent agenda. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Our next item is our presentations, which we don't have any for tonight. So we will move on to our old business. And the first item on the old business would be an alternate appointment for the planning board / board of adjustments at this point.
This item is just if you guys want, if you have any information, if you want to put it back on the table to fill one remaining vacancy for the in-town appointment for the alternate.
Does anyone have anyone that they would like to nominate for the boards at this particular time? If not, we will move on.
I'd like to nominate Mike McDonald.
What was that?
Michael McDonald.
We have a nomination for one Michael McDowell as an alternate for the planning board, board of adjustments. Is there a second on this nomination?
I second.
Do I need to move that the nomination be closed on June 9th?
Well, if anything, I think that there should be a second on the nomination possibly. But even in regards to your previous comment, we've also filled those other vacancies, even with one name.
We have a motion and a second that we nominate Mr. Michael McDowell as an alternate for the planning board, board / board of adjustments at this point. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. We are appointing Mr. Michael McDowell as our third alternate for the planning board / board of adjustments.
Can we get a motion on the appointment? Because I think the term nominate and appoint are two different. So,
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint,
Michael McDowell.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second that we appoint Mr. McDowell to the planning board / board of adjustments as an alternate. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. So now we have all three of the alternate positions filled. And we will move on to our new business, and the first item is a budget amendment, 2025-08-01. Ms. Manager, do you have any comments or remarks about this particular amendment?
this budget amendment is for $15,000. We had already budgeted 10,000 when we adopted the budget for the Youth Violence Prevention Grant. After the adoption of the budget, we learned that we actually got $25,000 total. So we just need to appropriate the remaining 15,000.
What is the will
I'd
of
like to
the
make a
board?
motion that we, make this, budget amendment, number 2025-08-01. For the additional $15,000.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of budget amendment 2025-08-01. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries.
actually gonna turn it over to the finance director.
Good evening.
Good evening. We do. That's,
And what was that dollar amount again for that? It was like,
80.
okay, and I wanna add too, the only reason that we're splitting it 50-50 is because the financial system will not allow us to attach multiple codes to each account, because we have some users that are just water sewer customers and not electric customers. It won't allow us to kind of split it like that on each individual account, so we have no choice but to just give it an even split on both ends after we've assessed those fees.
So would it be the same thing if they're just, cause there's some folks that are just electric and not water?
Otherwise, we'd have to count each account and figure out, okay, well, this person's an electric, this one has electric, water, and sewer also, those kind of things. So again, just an even split is the easiest way, i- given the financial system that we currently have.
So even if they're just a water only customer, it's still a 50-50 split. So it back kind of pretty much balances out. What was the,
Yeah, general fund wise, revenue spending,
In the middle,
okay.
which again, that's a win. But I also wanna say too, we've had several vacancies, in our police department. We've, sometimes had vacancies in our, streets and sanitation department that have been unfilled for some time. I know at the end of the fiscal, we had 2 maintenance worker positions that were vacant. So again, a lot of these are salary line items, and some of these too are supplies that just weren't bought. I think there was intent and budget to carry some things forward, but then just a change of decision or what have you, why those didn't carry forward. Um, oh, and another thing too, I feel like we spent all of the LISC money with the police grant, but again, I don't even think we spent all of that money, because when they told us we had to stop spending, we did. So we only were able to recapture expenses through May. So we still had a month, 2 months left on that grant that we never got to spend.
But we did get reimbursed. the
We
first
did get
time we spent.
reimbursed, but not for the whole grant. still should have $300,000 remaining of that. But some of that money too that we have remaining was on interest that we received while the money was sitting in the reserve account. Um, and so at some point too, we still need to do some more trapping before the performance period ends. And we, hopefully we can take care of a couple of other mitigation projects too. So
It's needed right now, cause that water has, some places stopped moving already.
Get back out there.
yeah, beavers in Robinson County are a problem.
So,
Real aggressive.
what is the actual closeout date on this?
June
particular
30th
grant? Of this year,
of 26.
26. So we still got a little time.
Hopefully they should start construction in October. We've hit some snags with tariffs and supplies and whatever else. But in the, wasn't it this one? There's an update later that
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. So that would be page 33 of your agenda.
Anybody got any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Casey. Okay, the next item is police salaries.
So at the last meeting, we adopted a step plan, um, kind of a tiered approach to increase our officer pay. Um, Interim Chief Hewitt was able to pull in some information, a more detailed information than what I've received previously about area salaries and where Red Springs actually falls. So Red Springs, our starting pay was is $43,000. And the next tiered would be Rockingham at 45,000, Fair Bluff, Fairmont, and St. Paul's at 47,000, Pembroke, which is just 9 miles down the road, 48,000, Laurinburg at 49,000, Hope Mills at 49,500, and Lumberton at 50,000. Average salary in the area is 47,813. Again, we're currently at 43,000. And I guess too, the conversation is, we don't want to be a launch pad for people, or we don't want to be where officers come because they have nowhere else to go. And so again, I think in order to keep the staff that we currently have, in order to recruit experienced officers, we definitely need to increase our pay to go along with the step plan that was recently adopted. We've crunched some numbers. I'm recommending that we increase our pay to 47,000. And again, in addition to our step pay plan, for instance, if we did do 47,000 and we got an officer with 8 to 10 years of experience, we'd essentially be paying 48,500 for that officer if our base pay is 47. And so again, that still puts us not at the top, but kind of right there in the middle.
Where's Maxton at?
I didn't have a number for Maxton. But I would venture to believe that they're probably close to where we are,
Yeah, they
if
are.
not lower.
I think they 42, 41, 42 right now. Is what I believe.
Yeah, and I will say too, even with my previous organization, Town of Bladenboro, they were at 45.6 when I left last year. and they're a much smaller agency. But again, we're not losing officers way out in Williamville, but just a point of reference.
And I
But,
say,
sorry, but before their starting pay was 39.
and I say this, starting a new officer out and bringing them in and you gotta clothe them and let them get 1 year certification. And then we are a training ground and we spent so much money to get their training and then they, after a year, they leave us after they get their 1 year certification to go somewhere else. We're losing money. So now we gotta do that process all over, get them more training. So if we are competitive, I don't think that officer's gonna be leaving us and it'll attract some to come to us. So
Agreed.
I'm with it because our citizens deserve to have the best and not pulling from the bottom. You probably hear me say it several times. I don't wanna get the bottom of the barrel. I like to have some officers that's competitive with other departments. So I would make the recommendation if anybody else wanna have a discussion.
And again, I want to say too, we've crunched the numbers. We can make 47 work even with the step increases. We still have vacancies. We still have new positions that haven't been filled. So we have officers that are retiring. So again, with what we'll save on our detective and our lieutenant retiring, we can make these numbers work.
And then that would also increase paying those officers that are here that are currently, if I'm, I don't know,
Moving them up.
so, yeah, so I don't want anybody left behind, like, cause that's the worst thing I think we could do. If you're saying I can come in new at this and then somebody's here and they're not at that level, we're gonna make sure that that is done. Across the board.
This is moving everyone up to minimum to implement the step plan
Okay.
within our current budget.
Everybody,
Everyone.
cause, you know, I'm not bringing up history,
And
but that has not always.
that step plan would apply to officers already on the force.
Correct.
And their pay goes up.
Correct.
Right.
Well, Ms. Manager, also would that applies to everybody that works at the police department, like the administrative assistant and all of them?
No, this is for police positions.
Okay. Are we in line with those salaries too, with administrative assistant, what their salaries are now?
I don't know. Cause that wasn't a part of the discussion,
I
pulling
understand.
salaries.
But if we're gonna do it for the department, I'd like for us to look at that as a whole also.
Well, so I will say this too. So not just for the police admin, but for salaries as a
agree.
whole. I do think the town pays very well for some of our positions.
I agree.
As far as admin, in particular, I don't know where we compete with that for, like, for a police clerk or something like
Yes.
that. I don't know where we fall for those positions, but I know for all of our other positions, when I've asked, again, our starting pay for our maintenance worker position is $16 an hour. And we're attracting candidates for our maintenance worker positions that were previously making 13 at UNC Pembroke. So again, it's one of those things, like, I mean, if we're gonna look at salaries, look at all of them, but I think that what we'll find is that we pay very well and that we're probably ahead.
Except for two departments. And those two are the ones we need to be competitive in. Example, why would I come here when I can go to Fairmont, St. Paul, Pembroke, any of these other places and make $4,000 to $5,000 more for the exact same work that I would be doing here? Unless I just had a special reason that brought me to Red Springs, I'm not coming. I'm going anywhere else, cause $5,000 in the course of 12 months will make a difference.
Well, and I will say too, in the absence of what's not presented here is, I think that the town of Red Springs also has a very competitive benefits package. And again, I don't have their benefits packages in front of me, but again, I can kind of generally expect what they're paying. Again, in the absence of retirement for Leo, again, the town gives 2% 401k contributions. there's not a lot of communities that's contributing anything to 401k other than what the state of North Carolina requires.
And for law enforcement, is mandated.
Correct.
That you do, so, and so the benefit package is great. If they get their 30 years in, it's a great benefit package.
So I'm seeking a recommendation to move our minimum salary up for police officers to $47,000.
I'll make the motion that we, move the salaries up to $47,000 to be competitive with, other departments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we increase our salaries for police officers to a minimum of 47,000. Is there any discussion on this motion?
And just making sure that step plan, I know we said it before, but it's, that step plan is for all police officers within the police department. And the reason why we say that is because sometimes things slip through the cracks.
So you need to mention the step because that includes it all,
Mhm.
not just for police
Right.
officers.
Yes.
Step,
Yep.
that we included in that before.
Mhm.
Yes, well, again, even when we adopted the step plan, again, that was still for our current staff as well.
Okay.
So, but again, we've looked at the numbers as a whole, and again, I think we're fine with what we are offering in addition to the step plan for everyone.
We don't want no motion just to say base pay officers.
Okay, okay. So, are you restating?
Okay, I'll make the
Oh,
motion
sorry,
that
are you
we,
restating?
yeah, I'll make the motion that we, move the salaries to 47,000 and also be in line with the, step increase.
Second.
Yeah, step was approved last
Mm.
month.
I think the point is to reiterate that they want the step plan for our existing as well as for any potential candidates that we may have.
Is that the motion that we have on the floor?
Mhm.
And the second.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Our next item is our ARPA internal control policy. And that policy is in your packet. You've had an opportunity to go over it. Ms. Manager, if you would, please.
Again, we adopted several policies at the last board meeting. This is one that, after our compliance review, they said we're still lacking, with this policy. So this is a template that they provided for us. We've modified it slightly, to reflect what our current process is. There was like language in there for monthly, finance reports and those kind of things, but we don't do that monthly. We do that quarterly. So, that was really the only change in who's responsible for those reports.
What is the will of the board concerning this ARPA policy?
Move that we adopt,
Mm-hmm.
that we adopt the ARPA policy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we adopt the ARPA internal controls policy. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Our next item is town vehicle assessment.
So, the reason why I'm bringing this back, during the budget, it was discussed that, there were no, vehicles for any staff outside of the police departments. At the City Vision Conference, I had met with the, Enterprise Fleet representative, and so we had already given, our information over to them to assess our current fleet needs. Even when the board said that they didn't want to move forward with any vehicles outside of police, I still wanted the information, in case anything could happen, all of our vehicles could be damaged by whatever catastrophe. We still needed to know what our options were. So, In looking at their fleet assessment, there's 30 vehicles included, I believe, in this assessment, and 18 of the 30 are recommended for replacement in 2025 based on mileage, based on year, based on our current maintenance budget on some of our vehicles. For instance, there is a 2004 Ford Ranger valued at $638 that we currently just spent $1,500 on. And so there's fleet needs like that. And again, there's not a department head that currently drives that vehicle. It's more so just, I think this is for the wastewater plant. But again, they only have one vehicle down there. We currently, the town provides for vehicles for supervisors and for department heads. But even currently right now, we have one supervisor that can't even get to Prospect because his car is a 2011 and overheating and probably needs like $4,000 worth of work. So this is a town vehicle. This is one of our pickup trucks. But again, as you can see from just the age, we have several vehicles that are 2011, 2012, 2013. We had already talked about the police vehicles, some that definitely should have been taken out of service maybe 20, 30,000 miles ago. So again, the police department aren't really the focus of why I'm bringing this back because again, that is already budgeted. But I think that as far as our supervisors and department heads are concerned, I think that consideration should be given for 5 pickups, one in general fund, 3 in water and sewer, and 1 in electric, in order to meet our current fleet needs so that we're not paying an excessive amount of money to maintain an old vehicle. We can surplus some of these vehicles, but also too, again, pass these vehicles down to staff that need them just to kind of boot scoot around town. But for staff that take vehicles home as a benefit for holding that role here with the town, we need to do something. There are. I put an example in. This is just an example. But say, for instance, if we did lease a vehicle, I mean, they gave us a full presentation on what the leasing program is like, what it means. So essentially, you're probably leasing a vehicle. If you had to buy it, it would be $45,000. But because they're getting vehicles on state contract, this vehicle is $36,000. They would, after 5 years or whatever time period, they would also help to sell the vehicle. Whatever surplus we get out of that vehicle, we can invest it into the next fleet of vehicles. We can choose not to invest it. We can choose to hold on to the vehicle. But generally, from what I remember, after 5 years, we own the vehicle regardless. So again, but this is a way to keep a current fleet. Because right now, I mean, we pay a significant amount in maintenance costs for vehicles that we probably should have let go of a very long time ago.
And after 5 years, you'll probably see in police cars, in my past, it's probably anywhere from 50 to 65,000 miles on those vehicles. So that should have a good retail sale value on it.
Yeah.
What I want to know is contractually, what are we obligated when it comes to enterprise?
Well, again, it's a leased vehicle, so
Normally lease vehicles go back to them.
but these we can keep. We're leasing it for a certain period of time. I've felt like that discussion was 5 years. And again, at the end of that 5 years, we can choose to turn it in to get another vehicle. We can choose to keep it if there's still value in the vehicle. We can choose to sell it if that's what we want to do. Their resale value is a little bit higher because, again, they're reselling it to customers like at a car lot versus on Gov Deals where we're kind of bidding and those kind of things, and there's all these unknown things. we can take the weight of that off of us.
Yeah, I just, you said you feel like it's 5 years. Just like to know exactly if it's 5, if it's 7, or whatever it may be. Because if it's 5, then that's what we are contracted to do, 5 years.
Yeah, I'm in agreeable with it, but I, like, Commissioner Edmonds said, I would like to have some figures to see where we at, before I vote on it. You know, I know we need it, it's desperately, but give us some figures if you can.
Okay.
I mean, it's clear that the enterprises in the business are making money themselves, so, but if it's good for us, I'm for it. I just don't want down the road, it's something that we can't change or something.
So if you turn it in at the end of 5 years, how does that fit into receiving a new vehicle?
Um, you would be restarting the lease.
Restarting
So
process,
again,
yeah.
so yeah, you start it all over again, but whatever value is left in the previous vehicle is a credit on the next vehicle. So like, say if we still had, $5,000 or $10,000 of value left in that vehicle, again, we can choose to cash out, take the $10,000 ourselves, or take that $10,000, put it on the next vehicle, so that the cost is less over time on that second vehicle.
What other municipalities are using that are close to us?
Hope Mills, Lumberton.
So,
What would that $8,000 that was mentioned annually?
That would be an annual cost. So again, it's no different than if we bought a vehicle now. I mean, even if, like, say the police vehicles are the vehicles that we probably rotate out more frequently. And so again, that would be your annual cost on that vehicle, depending on what the vehicle is,
That's per vehicle.
per vehicle.
so how many are you looking at, total, you're saying?
Outside of police, for police, because we definitely have to address our police situation.
Yeah, 64.
And five,
So-
five, one for general fund, 3 for water and sewer, and 1 for electric. And then some of our current fleet that we have pass on to staff. Again, we need additional vehicles just to do water meter reading. We don't have enough vehicles to accomplish that. We have bodies, but we don't have enough vehicles to accomplish it.
So you're looking at about 18 vehicles.
It's kind of strange to hear you say we don't have enough vehicles to accomplish it when we've seen vehicles that sitting in the past.
Well, there's some of the vehicles that are at the public works yard now need to be surplus. They require a significant amount of repair. The vehicle that has the animal control label on it, the front end shakes. There's a red pickup out there that needs several thousands of dollars worth of work, but it's also, I can't remember what the year of it is. I feel like maybe a 92. We're not putting that kind of money into a vehicle that old. So there's at least 4 vehicles that are currently sitting at the public works yard that need to be surplus today, and that's why they haven't moved.
So, Mr. Manager, what do you have budgeted in there for? I know you say you had it budgeted for some cars.
When the decision was made to not put any money into the other departments for vehicles, again, revenues don't change. The only thing that needs change of how we've appropriated the expenditures. The money is there. Like maybe we buy less equipment in order to make the financing terms work. The only vehicle that may require maybe a little bit more math is for the vehicle for general fund. That vehicle will be for the Parks and Rec director. But his vehicle probably has the least problems. So,
So what do we do with that vehicle?
we probably pass it on to other staff. The terrain that's one of the water and sewer employees drives, that vehicle would be kept in the inventory because I plan to pass that on to our code enforcement person.
equipment being taken care of. So,
Yeah, and even the police situation, I mean, it's not instant. So again, there's upfitting that's required on the police vehicles that wouldn't be necessary in those other vehicles. Police vehicle, we're even if we're leasing it, it still may be 90 days before we get it, just because of all of the upfitting that is necessary. That also we can roll into our costs instead of paying out of pocket for those things. And so again, but they said it's our option. As far as the other vehicles, the only thing that really is needed is the lighting kits for the hazard lights that go on the front and back of the vehicle. And they've even stressed too that even though this is a lease, this isn't like a lease program like when you lease from a car lot and you can only put X amount of miles on it and you can't do whatever on the inside and whatever else. They said that we are allowed to treat these vehicles as if they are our own.
Madam Manager, so we don't have vehicles for reading meters, right?
We do. We have one. Maybe we can get a second if there's no problems.
So are they considered low mileage, obtaining low mileage from one end of the year to the other? Oh, because I'm looking at the fleet type where you can't put so many miles on a vehicle. At least we would have a vehicle in service.
That particular constraint was not mentioned in the presentation. We can definitely ask. But again, if the comment is treat these vehicles as if they're your own, I put more than 15,000 miles on my car every year.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, I understand that part.
cars are meant to be driven. So
Okay. Yeah, that's worth checking out though.
I mean, they gave us a pretty spectacular presentation. And actually, that was actually our second presentation with them. And because they are on state contract, this isn't a situation where we would have to bid and see whatever other leasing program is out there. So this is on state contract, so it's already been vetted.
that's good. So is this something that you want us to address tonight
I was hoping
as
you
we speak?
I was hoping you would. So again, you know, we're already considering this for the police vehicles, but again, before we commit to the contract, we wanted to, you know, go ahead and ask about these additional 5 that are needed, so that we can move forward with the contract for the police vehicles also.
Well, that won't need a motion, will it?
No, the police vehicles is already done. That is already budgeted. This discussion tonight is just about the 5 that are not police related.
You don't have a number.
I don't have a number because again, they gave us this example, which again is a work truck. So this is kind of where we are. So estimated principal at $616 per month does not include monthly maintenance or insurance liability. So again, the monthly maintenance fee, let's say possibly $100 to $150 a month. On that, Bleecker is their closest preferred maintenance shop, which again, we already send vehicles there, and under that $150, that's it. We don't pay, was that correct? Or that we don't pay anything beyond that maintenance fee?
So we pay that monthly,
Correct.
$150 on top of the 8,000.
Correct. But again, the maintenance is taken away.
Per vehicle.
Would all
Per
5
vehicle.
of these vehicles be the same, or
No.
did you choose?
We can pick and choose. I mean, right now, again, our department heads and supervisors, they're in pickup trucks. I mean, that's the most useful vehicle for those people in those classifications.
Miss Manager, I do have a concern. You know, when you got a brand new vehicle, sometime after 36,000 miles, you know, brand new, it's already, you know, warranty there. I think we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot to, you know, if we have to pay $150 per vehicle, and it's under warranty, you know, for the first 3 years. So see if we can negotiate something on that, because, you know, it's under warranty. It's from the factory warranty. warranty, regardless of who's leasing it. It's a
Mhm.
factory warranty of 36,000 miles or, 3 years of 36,000 miles. So can we
Okay.
look into that? And then when you come out with some figures, and I agree that we gotta move forward. We can't keep kicking the bucket and letting these cars get so old and vehicles get so old that we gotta catch up like this. We gotta continue to move them out and stay, you know, I'm quite sure you're paying more maintenance than you would be, leasing a car. So if you can get those figures to us, I don't wanna vote on something blind.
Okay.
Ms. Manager,
Yes.
that maintenance fee, wouldn't that be like for oil change and things of that nature?
It could be for anything.
Engine and all that?
Well, I can tell you right now, Bleecker don't do that. So, Bleecker don't do that. They make, I think they said it was like the first one, then the second one, I gotta pay for the second one, and then they might give me the next one and maybe the fifth one or something like that.
That's it.
Look into it for us if you don't mind.
Get specific vehicles. Like, what you're looking for.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Not a hypothetical.
okay,
So if it's a F-150, if it's a
okay.
Tacoma, whatever.
It's apparent that we're not
So
gonna,
we can
have any
make sense.
action on this
Okay.
particular item tonight, so any other discussion on this?
No, I just share with the manager to do it like we're doing, when we would, like if we were shopping around doing the vehicles ourselves. Most times the department head or the manager will come back with a specific vehicle that needs, whether that's a S10, probably dating what I'm talking about with buying trucks, but if it's a F-150, if it's a Tacoma, whatever it is, get that specific, find that truck or whatever they're offering in that fleet that matches what we need so they can give us, and we know it won't be totally, but it would be more of an approximate number on what that is. So if we're picking up two F-250s and one whatever, one terrain, then they should be able to give us that package.
Okay.
So you know exactly what that maintenance is, what that cost is, and it gives us a better picture for numbers. I think that kind of answers what Commissioner Patterson might have been. Is that what you're alluding to, Chief?
Okay. Noted.
All right, well, we're gonna move on. Any other comments on this before we do? Our next item is an update on the splash pad, Ms. Manager.
So, myself and the recreation superintendent met with the Great Southern Recreation and the selected build team for the bathhouse this week. Which is gonna take about approximately 8 weeks to get the materials for the bathhouse. We do have the materials for the splash pad, so we still have to get some drawings complete so that these things kind of happen simultaneously. But I think they plan to just kind of build everything at one time. So we're estimating right now that by September 1st or that week of, we should have our permits in and hopefully approved. And then building to start somewhere around September 8th through the 12th. So I put in a couple of pictures for you what that's gonna look like. Again, we've worked with these numbers several times, so we'll get the splash pad, the bathhouse or the ticketing area. It'll have the restrooms on the inside, but the ticketing area will have a view on Layton Street plus a view of the splash pad. And then off to in the area between the splash pad and Tom Coat, there will also be a picnic shelter constructed. It's measured at a 20 by 20, and I believe we're gonna have 4 picnic tables under that. We currently don't have any, I'm sorry. Yes, we currently don't have any picnic shelters in our recreational inventory, so that'll be a nice asset, to the community. And again, for the picnic shelter, you do not have to be at the splash pad in order to enjoy the shelter.
I like to drive.
I did. So I just wanted to update everyone on everything on, what's happening.
With the fence.
With the fence, yes. The fence is not to keep it's not to keep the people out, it's more so to keep animals off of the splash pad. Just because animals do what animals do on any surface. So and again, this splash pad is not recycling any water or anything, so whatever the water is just gonna go into the sewer. So it's always dispensing fresh water, which is more sanitary. And that way you don't have to worry about applying chemicals at the site in order to treat water for bacteria and those kind of things. We already have a water treatment plant that does all of that. That's it.
So
What is the maintenance, what is the maintenance on, can you say anything about what the maintenance is?
Um, no, I don't know what the maintenance is on it. I guess I never asked, but I guess you clean it just like playground equipment or something. So, but again, it's always dispensing fresh water. I'm assuming at some point we probably have to seal, like tile. Seal it, make sure that it's not leaking, make sure there's no cracks, clean the surface. So it's kind of self does whatever. But I'll ask. So, and I think as far as operating the bathhouse, the ticket area or whatever, I think it'll be a nice little summer job for some of our youth, possibly, or some, attendant.
So the picnic shelter be available whether the splash pad's open or not?
Correct. And the picnic shelter doesn't have any fencing around it.
So at this point, projection for opening would be sometime next spring?
Correct. We should be able to open, at the start of pool season, which is generally around Memorial, possibly. But this was just more of an FYI.
Okay.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Any other questions for the manager on that? If not, we will move on. Next is our announcements.
So, currently happening is our National Night Out, happening at Tom Cope Park, free food, bounce houses, and games. We have a scheduled back-to-school event with Red Springs and Friends on Saturday, August 16th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also happening at Tom Cope Park. Announcing too that the Board of Commissioners, Town Manager, and Electric Director will be attending the annual Electricities Conference in Myrtle Beach from August 11th through August 14th. Fall litter sweep with NCDOT. I guess the same thing as their spring cleanup. So just kind of an FYI that they're going to be cleaning up streets and those kind of things. I don't know if the town is interested in doing another cleanup, but I mean that's probably a good time if that's something that the board would like to move forward with. And then also announcing I put it on the town's Facebook page. Well, maybe you guys don't know, but we do have a new town Facebook page. Our live streams are now on YouTube. So it's linked on our town website, and it's also linked on the town's Facebook page, which is Town of Red Springs Government. So if you did want to follow. So there's no more live streams up there, but the Facebook page this is not where we want people to list their gripes with the town. We want to use this page to promote community messaging, to share news and alerts, which our previous Facebook page didn't really operate like that. It was just for live stream purposes only. So, but now our live stream has moved on to YouTube. So there's a link on the town website and on the Facebook page.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you for that. Maybe as the public find out, they'll start back tuning in and viewing via the internet. So we're gonna move on to our comment section, and tonight we'll start with Commissioner Edmonds.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, you all for joining us on this evening, and I really don't have anything going on. I just want to thank everybody for the hard work that they do. We want to mention that, as one of the pastors here in Red Springs, we are in our revival season. So we're having revivals at several different churches in the community. Other than that, get ready for kids to go back to school and all the events that we do there.
Commissioner, you done go through the church application. Is it this one?
Thank you, Commissioner Edmonds. Commissioner McKeithen.
And I'd just like to say good evening to everyone and thank you all for your attendance tonight, and just like to take this time to thank the workers for the job they're doing, trying to clean up our streets, getting the grass off the curbing. I know we got a long way to go, but what they have done really looks good. So we gotta pat them on the back for that and thank them for a job well done under the leadership of Mr. Tim. Again, I'd like to thank the water department too. You don't see that many leaks around town anymore, so that's an improvement. So we thank you for what all you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McKeithen. Commissioner Patterson.
Good evening, and I want to thank each and every one of you, the board and the citizens and all, for praying for me and my family. My dad had a major stroke, and he's still in the hospital, but continue to pray for me and my family. There's some tough times, tough roads that we're dealing with right now, but I am gonna go back to say I'm fighting that we get a ambulance here. I think that some things could be saved with some of our citizens here. I've been preaching it for the last 4 years I've been on this board, and I'm gonna continue to say whatever we gotta do to get some better response of our rescue or ambulance for the citizens of Red Springs. We need it. After my dad had his stroke, it was about 35 minutes later that the ambulance arrived. Time is of the essence. So as a board, I charge each and every one of you to let's revisit this thing. You know, I've been saying it the whole time. It hit home, but I don't want it to hit anybody else home. So let's kind of revisit at some point. Whatever I got to do to pay out of my pocket or helping to raise some money. I said it last time before this ever happened. I'm still with that plan. So continue to keep me and my family in your prayers. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Patterson. Commissioner LaCasse.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you here. We seem to have a growing epidemic within the neighborhoods. Folks are cleaning out their storage places, and they're putting the trash outside on the curb. The problem is the night people are going through there, and by morning, the trash is all over the highway. So I think we got to take another approach on that to kind of assist us in cleaning up the curbs and the streets, because it is happening, and it's something that we need to act on, either to the citizens or an ordinance so we can stop this, because the more we clean the streets up, the night people come through and filtering through it looking for whatever, and by morning it's all over the street, and it's defeating our purpose of trying to keep the areas clean. So we need to probably take another approach to that. And look for a text from me. The high school is doing something with the new youth this week, and they would like for us to stop over and kind of say hello. Don't have the exact date between Wednesday and Thursday, but I'll find it out. Pick this information up in one of the other meetings this week that I was attending. So they just will ask that we come over and say hello and show our support there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Lapierre. Mayor Pro Tem Sumter.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your presence in person and online. A few announcements that we're going to share. First Baptist Church on 4th Avenue, right across from McDonald's and the Roosters restaurant, is having a free giveaway Wednesday, which is tomorrow, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. It is open to all. So I've shared it on social media, and I'll make sure that we get it on our town website. It was just shared today. Also, August the 7th, Hope for Change will be at the John McNeil Farmers Market from 10 to 3 with a giveaway in partnership with North Carolina Youth Violence and Amazon. So there's going to be some giveaways there. The caveat, I think, for the Hope for Change is the children must be present with you to receive those supplies. The manager did mention the Friends of Red Springs Back to School Bazaar at Tom Coke Park will be August the 16th, 10 to 3. So there'll be bounce houses, music, school supplies, food, just a family-friendly event. We're also encouraging our Parks and Rec participants, which we know that our girls softball team will serve as a 2025 co-champions this year due to weather and rescheduling. They weren't able to have that championship game, but they were Northern champions for the county, our young softball players. So kudos to them, their families, and their coaches. Also, we had some of our Little League teams to do pretty well in recreation ball, as well as our Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth are the champions, right? So we got several awesome talents. So we know they're not here tonight, but talking with Tony, trying to get them back just to recognize them. Just really want to appreciate this board. I know I hound you all were big, but you always come through in supporting our youth and recreation and building that program back up. So I'm thankful for the many volunteers that have helped the coaches, the parents, the concession crews, just helping. Tony has a crew, but he needs more help. So thank you, guys. And with that being said, I told him that I would ask tonight if you guys would like to donate hot dogs and hot dog buns. I told him we could get that out of the board. And because Chief is going to grill, right? The 16th? Yes, thank you, Chief. And so that's usually how we work. But we just want to say that the folks that you see here, we really support. You might not see, I'm out and about, right? Maybe that's because I have to be. But I will say that this board, anything that I ask on the spot, up front, behind the scenes, they're always supporting. So I may be the face of it, but they support our youth in that aspect. And so we know it's going to take some time to rebuild. So if you want to jump on board and volunteering, please let Manager Harris know so that we can vet our volunteers. We're gearing up for football season. All right. So again, back August the 23rd, the Warriors for Christ Gospel in the Park will be in the Mill Village area from 10 to 3. If you would like to participate, come out, contact Minister Sharon Ray, Pastor 2 at First We Will. Also, open house for public schools for Peterson, Red Springs Middle, and Red Springs High will be August the 21st from 1 to 6. And then our lovely darlings go back to school August the 25th. So we know that bus traffic will be out. So if you need to leave earlier than you've been doing, do so. I think about that time. Sanitation for trash pickup, we probably need to do some adjusting. when the school year starts back, so we're not colliding with, not colliding, but, you know, the little traffic jams that we have here in the big metropolis of Red Springs in the morning time with trash pickup and all that great things about our students going back to school. Also, the first Thursday, which is this Thursday, Robinson County Church and Community Center will have the mobile food distribution at John McNeil lining up, I think, like at 9 a.m. If something changes, if the weather is bad, I'll make sure that I get that message to the manager so she can put it out on the our Facebook page, and I'll also do that as well. And just again, if you want to go out to Tom Cook Park, there's still time to celebrate National Night Out, and I think the weather is holding. We'll definitely have some fireworks tonight, and I know that there are many more things that many of us would like to do for our town, but there are great things along with always room for improvement taking place in our town. So there's a lot of activities taking place, family-friendly events, and so if you're interested in participating or volunteering, please reach out to the manager, and we'll be also happy to put you on our volunteer list and some working committees so that we can make Red Springs a better place. So thank you again, board. I took your silence and your chuckles to help with the hot dogs, and on Saturday. So come out and participate. And again, thank you, town employees. I know department heads, you do a great job, as Commissioner McKeithen stated, just changing the trajectory of how we do things. And so we're only going to get better. And thank you, Manager Harris. I'm sure you love to see my phone number come up when I'm calling, but I appreciate you being receptive and doing what needs to be done. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Sumter. Manager Harris.
Just briefly, I put it in my bi-weekly report, but I just wanted to make sure that the board knew that the Red Springs Rescue is still occupying the building, especially in the, I think our discussion during budget time was for them to vacate the premises, but again, we're not planning to take over EMS services. There's no plans to lease the building for revenue at this time. And so again, you know, they're still in the building, which again is fine. They are still doing rescue services, which did not include EMS, so responding to car accidents, you know, chokings. They can assist with EMS services if there's other EMS services present, but they are not the primary on those certain types of calls. I think what they're going through is just maybe some growing pains of change, hopefully. They are under new leadership with the gentleman that was here last month. His name escapes me for right now. Marty Willis. Was it Willis? Yep. And so again, without the EMS services, the budget that they've presented that I eventually got doesn't really hold true because they are unable to collect revenues for patient transport and those kind of things. Again, it doesn't impact us per se because again, we pay the note on the building, we pay for the utilities. So again, none of these things have changed for us. But I did advise for them that, again, them continuing to be in the building, again, they need to be making efforts to get whatever their qualifications back together. I will say, even with that, I do see the vehicles out and about more as opposed to ever. I think the first probably 6 or 7 months I was here, I can count on one hand the number of times I ever saw the rescue vehicle. I've seen it more in the last couple of weeks than I've seen in the first 6 months I was here. But again, in exchange, I've asked that they cut the grass at the farmer's market. That's kind of where we are now. But I also asked that they take better care of the building with some of the small maintenance things that need to be done. There's a security issue that needs to be addressed. But other than that, when I went inside the building's actually in very good shape. It's very clean. But again, I think that they could still do better on some of these smaller tasks that better secure the building. So that's where we are with that. I told them that this is not a permanent solution, that we would revisit it during next budget year. And so again, I think that too, having a permanent place that they can somewhat call home helps them to better address some of the other things, the challenges that they have with their EMS certifications and those kind of things. So again, I'll be meeting again with them in the coming months, but just to kind of update you where we are with that so that that communication didn't fall through the cracks. And then also, staff has done a great job on improving the community building. It has been power washed for the first time in a very, very long time. But also too, on the interior of the building, there's been a significant deep cleaning on it, redoing the floors. They're nice and shiny and those kind of things. But again, that's to enhance the appeal of the building, because we do charge a significant amount to use that building, so it needs to look like what we're charging for it. And again, I think staff in recent weeks have really worked on doing that. So it looks really nice if you haven't driven by lately. So, and then just for the public's purposes, if you don't know, we do have a new interim chief. His name's Justin Hewitt. He's just here for a interim period to get us through some changes that we're currently undergoing in the police department. So, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Manager. I'll say good evening to each of you, and thank you for your concern with your town, our town. As I stated last time, each and every town is always a work in progress. All the work is never done. All the projects are never complete. As you complete one, more appear and reappear, and as you get one job done, another job needs doing. So it's a continual process. But I would like to thank our manager and staff for their diligence and seeing to it that our town is being taken care of, and at this particular time with the extreme heat and conditions that the employees have had to work in over the past month, I'm sure it's taken a lot out of them, and it's always something to consider when you gotta work in those kind of conditions. I'm glad our director is here tonight over the streets and water department. It's good to see him here tonight. And I actually received a phone call from a resident that was just thrilled with the professionalism and courtesy that some of your employees displayed as they were working in front of his home, taking care of a water leak. And he told me to make sure that I passed that on. He just felt good about what was happening at that time. And I know, it's some of both sides. It's kind of like the Clint Eastwood movie. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have all of that here on an everyday basis. And the manager and the department heads, it's their job to try to regulate the bad and the ugly as much as possible and promote the good. So kudos to all of you for the work that you do and what you have to go through and what you have to put up with sometimes. And there's never enough thanks to go around, but there's always enough bad to go around. So we just have to continue to work and continue to try to get better and continue to try to restore our town to some of the things that it used to be when we were all proud to say that I'm from Red Springs, St. Paul's the backup, Fairmont the backup, Maxton the backup. So yeah, that was always a good feeling. But that's pretty much what I needed to say tonight, and I'm glad that all of you that are here did decide to come out. This is where you get an overview of what you can expect to happen in the short term as far as operation for this town, because this is where the decisions are made to move forward with what the short term is as well as the long term. But long term comes more in the spring of the year. And with that, I hope we all have a good month of August. And I'm getting ready to go into my heavy season, which is September, which is when my birthday is, as well as a lot of people that live in my house and a close family of mine, you know. I even have a granddaughter who took my wedding anniversary away by being born on that day. So, but anyway, we have a lot to do in September in the Henderson family, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of my family, and I'm proud of all of you, and I'm proud to be here. So with that being said, unless there's any other comments from this board, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I have one more item that I
One
forgot to
more
mention.
item.
So at the last meeting, too, the discussion was about seeking a firm to do an independent investigation regarding the April 7th power surge event. We did send out a request for proposals to a listing that was provided to us of recommended firms from Electricities. I think there were maybe 6 people on the on the list. We got 0 responses to that. We did, but again, of the firms we contacted, at least 2 wrote us back and just said that they were just really busy. One did, we thought that we were going to get one proposal in, but at the close of the proposal period, we didn't get any. So again, we will revisit this after the Electricities conference. We've been advised that there will be several firms at the conference anyway. So again, we'll be working to establish some connections to hopefully continue with that.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to thank Pastor Edmund, Commissioner Edmund, for coming to visit with my father on Sunday and praying with him. So, again, thank you. And I know the rest of you all are doing the same, but he definitely came up and took out of his busy schedule to come. And I do thank you. I got several calls from the rest of you or either text. I just want to say thank you again.
Thank you. Anything else? If not, we'll entertain that motion for closed session.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we go into a closed session for client attorney privileges at this time
No, this is under personnel.
and personnel as well. Did we good with a second? Yes, sir. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This motion carries. We're going into a closed session.